And this one case could either totally destroy the center-right grassroots movement, and the left too, it's a nonpartisan issue, so we tend to rely on issue committees, or we have the chance to break it open. After the Citizens United Supreme Court case, I don't know if you know all, I'm going to assume that there's varying levels of knowledge or interest around that case. But the Supreme Court there said, you know, the First Amendment means something. We're going to take a step back after McCain-Fine rule and stop this overregulation of speech where courts pick the winners and losers. But here now in Colorado, we have the definition of what an issue committee is and how much they can give before they're required to disclose any donations at issue. So, in Colorado, 2 or more people who come together to support an initiative, either at the local or state level, are required to register with the Secretary of State. They are required to get a bank account. They may be required to apply for charity status with the Secretary of State, or as a nonprofit corporation, they may be required to get an EIN, bill with IRS tax implications of that. So, seeing some very familiar faces, imagine if, say, it's 2008, Colorado had the longest ballot in the nation, 14 different initiatives and referendums on the ballot. I personally was involved or advocated on behalf of or against 4 or 5 of them. So the burden on me as an individual taxpayer to utilize my First Amendment rights, if I'm doing it with Michelle or somebody else in this room, I have to go and set up an issue committee for each and every one of these entities. And what the left has done very effectively, and this is what we're trying to steal here, is they go after the grassroots organizations. They go after the neighbors who are saying, we've had it, the parents who are tired of unions controlling the schools. Fortunately, there was a 10th Circuit decision that said Colorado's rules, the $200 limit before, or baseline before you have to disclose your contributions. That, the court said that was too restrictive. So now the question is $5,000 too restrictive? That's Podcastler's standard now. We're saying that's too restrictive. And unlike Common Cause, we're saying that that's too high of a threshold. We're saying it's not enough. Because $5,000 right now is one media buy. So this case, we're looking for plaintiffs who will intervene as plaintiffs who want to be parties. So if you are a grassroots group or you feel like you, after what I've just told you, you hesitate to volunteer your name for an effort, let us know, because we need to move quickly on this. We already have a solid group of people who want to get involved, the more the merrier. We also have the assistance of the Center for Competitive Politics, terrific public interest law firm in Washington, D.C. They're donating in kind to pro bono legal law. So we have that case. Then we have Independence Institute v. Gessler. I see a theme here. He inherited that one from Bernie Busher. And I know for a fact that Scott agrees with the plaintiffs on that issue because he represented me as my attorney in 2008 when we were duking it out with the left on so many of those issues. So we have litigation, we have the Secretary of State, and an area that I think a lot of people, and I'm sure people in this room overlook, is the opportunity to hold legislators accountable under the joint rules of the state legislature. It doesn't cost you money. You can go to the Speaker of the House, and he may or may not approve your request to have an ethics committee convene about a certain legislator's behavior. Take, for instance, a certain legislator with the last name McCloskey. So Michelle, this was a fun one. She gets emails. She's got a real estate listserv, and there's this email that she's out. And it says, hey, does anybody know of any properties in, let's just say, the 6th CE that would be available for a short-term rental? That's funny. That's what it did. Huh, go figure. Wonder where he's going to vote in his caucus tonight. Can he vote in his own caucus that he represents in Denver, or does he vote in the new caucus? So anyway, it turns out he moved, which is a violation, which no longer represents his district under our reading of the legislative ethics rules. So we went to Speaker McNulty, took us half a day, wrote a letter, and asked for him to convene an ethics committee. We haven't heard back yet. This was a couple days ago.
Thank you.
but we're going to continue to fight that fight. Voters of all parties, of all ideologies, should really be aware if their legislator actually lives in his or her district. That's so critically important. And the last thing that I really wanted to talk about was the court of public opinion and why issues are so critically important. You probably never heard somebody talk so much about a losing campaign like I have just now, but it really was, there's so many incredible lessons. And I remember after big business interests abandoned me and groups like yours supported me, there was also another incredible collaboration between left and right. Together with members of the Local 7, together with the Progressive Coalition and environmental activists, and Christian homeschoolers and people who've never voted a day in their life, committed Republicans, Libertarians, Green Party members, you name it. I had about 70 people walking with me every Saturday of the week before Election Day. They didn't care about R. They didn't care about D. They didn't care what letter came after my name. They cared about saving a lake from unjust condemnation, which we were successful in saving this lake in Nevada under a Colorado Supreme Court case. So never doubt the ability of each of us through litigation or through these many vehicles I talked about to provoke change, and never deny the opportunity. This is what I learned, is to never deny oneself the opportunity to build coalitions and strength for you to least anticipate it. I will wrap up, but if anybody has ideas, teachers' unions, things that are going on, we use the Open Records Act request a lot. Michelle's become an expert on that. If you want help with media strategy, if you're looking at initiatives, if you want to stop by and ask some questions about, because you're scared that you're running into a gray area in terms of campaign financing or anything else, come to us. But more than anything, we really need your money. We need to raise about another $100,000 before the election so that we can hire on legal experts who can really attack these issues. In many cases, these are issues of first impression, meaning they've never gone before a court. And in a state like Colorado, where we have the most complex campaign finance system, hands down, in the country, we have so many questions to ask, including this question with Diane Primavera and the illegal fundraiser. So let's get this settled. Campaign finance reform has silenced small business owners. It hasn't silenced Jared Polis. It's silenced the people in this room, and I commend you all for standing up for the world guy. Keep it up.
As you said, she'll be available. Come talk to her if you have questions, especially the candidate. But if you're a candidate and you just want money from her, wait, let everyone else